Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Camping Camper. We're coming at you today from Roan Mountain State Park. This state park's a little further away from home than I usually go for a weekend trip, but I do try to come up here a couple of times a year because it's excellent. One of the main reasons that you have to come here, you just have to check it out, is you have to go up to the Rhone Highlands. The best way that I know to get there is to go up to a place called Carver's Gap. Basically, you go out of the state park here, turn right, then you go about 6 or 7 miles and you run right into it, right at the North Carolina border. This state park's close to Johnson City, Tennessee. As far as cell service, you're not going to get zip around here, zilch. Now, if you do have Verizon, up near the camp store, they do have a Verizon Booster, so you can drive up near the store, walk up near the store, and you can make a phone call out if you have Verizon, but it only works for Verizon. They do have campground Wi-Fi. We're in the group sites right now, and it doesn't pick up back here hardly at all. I've got 1 or 2 things to go through, but not very much. And over in the main area where the bathrooms are, it seems to be a little bit better. This is one of the few instances that I think that a Wi-Fi booster would come in handy. So since we're at the group sites now, we'll start with that. They're all right next to the river here. You can see the bridge behind me as well. They're very nice. They're pretty spacious. They do ask that you pitch tents only in the gravel area, which is enough for probably 6 or 7 tents, depending on how big they are. But we've had a really great time here this weekend. I know what you're thinking. You got a brand new fifth wheel at home. Why aren't you in it? Well, we still like to tent camp sometimes and stuff, but I actually planned this trip for a friend that didn't come, but we had other friends come. It was fun. It's a nice, relaxing weekend. I want to start with the bad things about this park. So the bad thing is, number one, it's super crowded. A lot of the sites are super close together. And the next bad thing is, because it's so crowded and everything's super close together, some of the sites are very hard to back into. If you're staying at the main loop behind the general store, you know, it's still pretty tight, but the sites are bigger for the most part. There are some that I'm going to point out that you don't want to stay at, probably because it's very hard to back a camper into. The 2 that I would avoid is 11A and 17. There's more that are really hard to get into just because of space. A lot of it's just because it's right around the corner. There's a trash can right beside the road where your truck's going to have to be to kind of turn in. But these 2 are the worst ones in my opinion. As far as tent sites, I would recommend the side of the loop that's on the outside, closest to the water, which would be the end of the loop. 33 is going to be my favorite just because it has more room than any of the others. But that whole, it's not near the water, but all of the rest of the ones that are there on the outside of that loop after 33 are right up against the water of the river, the one that you see behind me. Some of the better sites that I've found are 3A, 4A, 7A, 9A, 10A, 14A, 13A, 15A, 16A, 12A, 3 through 8, 11, 12, and 15. So that's just some of those that are better. Again, if you're in the RV loop there, as long as the camping pad permits your camper, because some of those sites are shorter, I would still think about staying on the side of the loop near the water on the outside, because why would you not want to stay next to this, right? I also want to point out that 8A is a small pull through, and it looks like there's about a 25-foot camper there right now. I don't think that I would want anything bigger than that in there because it is a very small pull through. If you continue to go straight past the general store, there's a sign warning you, if you have big rigs, to check before you go up the hill. And that's because all of those sites back there are relatively small. There are a couple that work with larger trailers. I asked the host and the park ranger what they would recommend. They recommend comfortably sticking to 25 feet or less on a camper. You know, the roads are pretty tight up there. A lot of those places are hard to back into, and a lot of those sites are very short. To be honest, most of them are well suited for a pop-up camper or a teardrop. The ones that I would recommend looking at if you did have like a 30-foot camper would be 52 and 76. 52 and 76. 48 through 51 are smaller sites. They're more private. They're nice sites if you have a small enough trailer. And if you continue going up past that loop, there's Area 5, which is on the map as Bathhouse 5. And there are 3 sites that I would recommend looking at there. Those would be 61, 64, and 71. We've really had a great time here, guys. Just be sure to check out the videos and the pictures that I'm going to post after this to just kind of give you an overview of what you're going to have in store for coming up here. If you're going to book something for advance for next spring, I would recommend looking to see when the rhododendron blooming season is in the area up here near Roan Mountain, because there's rhododendron all over this place and it is beautiful. Until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Today's featured YouTube channel is RVacationer. These guys are down in Alabama. They released a video here recently about Gunnersville, Alabama, and an RV park there. Looks great. I'm going to put it on my to-do list for whenever I can get down that way. So I suggest you check these guys out.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.